Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez isn't changing his mind today after calling President Bush the devil while addressing the UN. In fact, Chavez defended and added to his words while he was at Harlem today.
The sooner the better. The people from the United States will choose a president, will elect a president with whom we can talk, with whom we will be able to work, sit down and talk like brothers, like equals, and not this gentleman that you have now, walk like this cowboy John Wayne, walking like this.
As you can imagine, there's a lot of reaction to this on Capitol Hill. Mike Vaquera back for his third topic this hour. Mike, what's been the reaction up there on Capitol Hill to Hugo Chavez's comment?
Well, I'll tell you real quick, Norah. Republicans following the lead of the administration, of course, Secretary of Rice, Ambassador John Bolton, have no comment, won't dignify his comments, his actions today with a response. But Democrats, you might be surprised, are rushing to defend or at least condemn Hugo Chavez. Nancy Pelosi told us today that Hugo Chavez abused the privilege that he had in speaking at the United Nations, in doing so in the manner in which he characterized the president. He demeaned himself and he demeaned Venezuela. I think Hugo Chavez fancies himself a modern-day Simon Bolivar, but all he is an everyday thug. And Charlie Rangel, another prominent Democrat, he's from Bronx, where Hugo Chavez gave that speech that we just saw a clip of. Okay, let's take a listen to Charlie Rangel. I'm told we have a bite from Congressman Rangel.
Even though I'm fully aware that he and President Bush enjoy these personal attacks on each other, they can do politically what they see fit to do. But you don't come into my country, you don't come into my congressional district, and you don't condemn my president.
Okay, everything that happens up here has to be seen in a political context. Democrats rushing to condemn Hugo Chavez don't want to be seen as weak, want to be out there against this guy, so they're actually beating Republicans to the punch. They won't be accused of coddling the man. Nora.
All right, Mike Vaquera, I love that reaction from Charlie Rangel up there. He's not happy that Hugo Chavez is in Harlem, and probably Charlie Rangel knew nothing about it.
He thanked him for the money that he brought, but he didn't have anything else nice to say.
That's probably true, Mike Vaquera. Thanks so much.
Certainly.
So what kind of response is in order from our country? With their take, journalists Greg Palast and Terry Jeffrey, editor of Human Rights, a conservative online news magazine. Let me begin with you, Terry. Some people are calling for a boycott of Citgo, which, of course, is owned by a Venezuelan company, as a way to punish Chavez for his devil comments. Should there be a boycott?
No, I don't think there should be a boycott, though. I do believe it should be pointed out, as John Bolton, the UN ambassador, alluded to yesterday, that in Venezuela, under Hugo Chavez's government, someone can get 6 months to 30 months in jail for insulting the president. So had he done this, had we the same law here in the United States, this guy would be on his way to the slammer right now. The fact of the matter is, unfortunately, we have significant economic ties with Venezuela. It's our fourth leading supplier of oil. And I think we need to keep getting that oil, but I think people need to understand that a leader like Chavez in a country like that is a threat. And they, in fact, ought to be thankful we have a president like George Bush who's willing to stand up to this guy.
Well, so then what should be done?
Well, I think what we need to do in the future, Nora, is make sure that the democratic government of Venezuela is maintained, and at the end of this guy's term, he's removed from office by the people of that country voting democratically. I think that's the most important thing. And I think a large part of what happened with both him and Ahmadinejad, the Iranian leader this week, is they try and build up their support in their countries by bashing the United States of America. It wouldn't matter whether Bush was president or John Kerry was president. That would be their own political agenda. But I think we have to try and move and make sure in the future that the democracy is maintained in that country and someone else becomes president down the road.
Greg, let me ask you, Chavez today called President Bush Cowboy John Wayne, adding that the president is unwilling to talk through world problems before taking action. Isn't that the same argument by the president's opponents in this country?
Oh, absolutely. I got to tell you, Hugo Chavez is simply saying what 90% of the people on this planet believe, and probably the majority of Americans. And by the way, Terry's dead wrong.
You think 90% of the people in the world and in this country think the president's a devil?
I can tell you. You just had Tony Blair, the Prime Minister of Spain, the Prime Minister of Italy, all lose their jobs over their friendship with this guy. He's seen as unelected. He's seen as a guy who lied about war. He's seen as a dangerous threat to the planet. I'm sorry, that's how it is. Chavez is playing very much to the people of the planet, his constituency, and he's running for re-election in Venezuela, and where he's very popular, and frankly, put it bluntly, unlike our president, he was elected. So when you talk about democracy, how about we start with the United States, as Chavez
No, wait a minute.
Remember that...
First of all,
yeah.
Excuse me, President Bush was elected under our Constitution twice. Yes, in the 2000 election, he lost the popular vote. He won the Electoral College vote. He won again in 2004. To say that President Bush was not elected is flat wrong and insult to the democratic process of this country.
You know, you have to understand, I report on Chavez for BBC, and I also reported on the U.S. elections. The rest of the world is darn certain that the fix was in Florida, the fix was in Ohio.
The rest of the world is wrong, sir.
That we're talking about Hugo Chavez, who is saying, we know this guy's unpopular, he's dangerous, and in fact, let's not forget that George Bush supported the kidnapping of the president of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, in 2002. So when you talk about supporting democracy, our president has not been on the front lines. He literally endorsed the kidnapping of the president of Venezuela, who is now back here saying, hey, you threatened our democracy, you're threatening democracy around the world.
You're speaking about when his own people took him into custody.
He just won a re-election massive vote. He's going to win again in December. I've even talked to his opponents who say he's wildly popular in Venezuela, in Latin America, and worldwide. What Chavez was doing was being a really smart politician, saying what's on the electorate's mind, not only in his country, but in most nations of the world. I can tell you in London right now...
Why are you so intent on applauding anti-Americanism overseas?
I'm telling you as it is.
And into the teeth of that anti-Americanism...
You want me to wave the flag, or do you want me to report the news?
You're supposed to be a journalist, saying incorrect things about your own country.
Well, excuse me. First of all, it's a dead truth that Florida was a fix. That's what we report on BBC, but that's what the people on the planet clearly understand. And you have to understand, you go to London right now, and everyone agrees with Chavez. I mean, Chavez is saying what people are thinking, and it's about time that Americans be aware what the world is thinking of this president. They consider him illegitimate and dangerous.
Sir, maybe you ought to go to Venezuela and try and insult President Chavez the same way you attacked our president and see what happens to you there.
Well,
were you to express that kind of free speech down there?
All right, guys, this has been a very interesting conversation. Greg Paulist and Terry Jeffrey, we appreciate your energy and enthusiasm over the topic. Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome, Norah.
And the president on the road to